100%, meaning we're going to grab every single item, every heart tank, every energy tank, all the weapons, all the armor capsules, and the Hadouken, and then we're going to beat the game. If you don't know, I am Dashana. I ran a few Castlevania games yesterday. I enjoy playing platformers. Mega Man X is one of my favorite games of all time. One of the best soundtracks. Absolutely phenomenal game. Try to play it fast. I do apologize if I end up coughing on stream. I have been sick with bronchitis and it's still affecting me a little bit, but I will try to keep that to a minimum if possible. So one thing to take note of here in this opening stage, I'm going to avoid picking up health if I can and try to take damage that is intentional. At the end of the stage, we're going to be fighting Vile, an evil robot. His name's even an anagram of evil. But we can't actually defeat him, and so we need him to hurt us to a certain point, and then he'll immobilize X, and Zero will come to save him. And so the lower our health is when we get there, the faster we can get through that sequence. But it's a, a balance. You don't want to take so much damage you actually die. So coming up to the end of the stage here, got some cars dropping from a airship. My health is a little bit higher than ideal, so we'll have to get punched by Vile a couple of times. Not a huge deal. Alright, here he comes. Oh, pressed start too early. So he punches us, so he punches us again, and then we get paralyzed. Yada yada yada. It is ideal to play this game on a Super Famicom, or at least the Japanese region game for the text boxes alone. It does speed up the game a little bit, but I don't own a Super Famicom or the Japanese version of the game. I have an original cart of Mega Man X and a Super Nintendo that I'm playing on, so we get to see all the English dialogue boxes. Not that there's a ton of them. Alright, so first stage done. I'm going to move on to Chill Penguin. He's always the one you want to start with when you play this game. Not necessarily because the ice weapon is amazing, which it's pretty good, but in this level we'll pick up the leg upgrade that allows X to dash, and that significantly speeds up the game. Pretty much the main speedrun tech, if you will, of this game is always be dashing. You always want to dash, and ideally you want to jump at the end of your dash, because X will conserve his horizontal momentum throughout the air when you jump. And so you can keep the dash speed a little bit longer if you chain dashing and jumping together. Neat little trick. It's not used beyond just this beginning level here, but if you are walking down a slope, X actually gets a speed boost, and so if you walk backwards and then jump and then turn around, you can get a little bit of a speed boost. But once we get the leg upgrade here, that's no longer really required because we're just going to be dashing everywhere. My good pal Dr. Light. Letting us know we weren't supposed to have to be the robot defender of the world. He didn't want us to do violence, but it looks like we're gonna have to. Alright, try and dash through these ostriches without taking too many hits. This giant robot helps us go up top here and skip having to deal with some enemies. There's a heart tank in that container looking thing that I just passed over. But we cannot pick it up without Flame Mammoth's weapon, so we do have to revisit this stage at some point. As far as I'm aware, there is no known way to avoid having to do a revisit to this stage. So if anybody figures that out, you know, make some waves in the Mega Man X speedrunning community. So, Chill Penguin, there's a bit of an RNG to this guy. If he decides that he wants to dash along the ground, you cannot hurt him until that dash is finished. So we want him to dash as little as possible. He does not always cooperate. He's doing pretty good this time. One thing that you'll notice me doing, I'm dashing before I shoot my lemons. It's actually cooperating quite a lot today. Fun little bit about this game, if you dash and then shoot a lemon, it will deal 2 bars of damage instead of 1. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is there, but I will take advantage of it. So he only dashed 1 time. I didn't expect that to happen, so I didn't take as good advantage of it as I could, but that was a really good RNG on the penguin there. So ideally, when you're using the X Buster as your weapon, you pretty much always want to dash and then attack just for that double damage. In the speedrun, we don't necessarily use the boss weakness weapon order, and so we will want to take advantage of that more than maybe a casual run would. I'm not the best speedrunner at this game by any means, and so there is a very different order that the top level players will do than the one that you're going to be seeing today. It takes advantage of some really neat glitch tech, like grabbing that heart there. You can spawn one of these elevator platforms that I'm riding on using Boomer Koanger's weapon and just fly through the stage, literally fly through, and grab the heart much faster. It's very cool, but it is frame and pixel perfect, and I'm just not that precise with this game. So my order is going to be very different than a top level run would be. And I just fell into a pit. That was intentional, I'm sure. Yeah, that was a RNG manipulation, that's what we call that. But we grabbed the heart tank on the left, and then went up top there and grabbed the first energy tank of the game. So that's, with the boots, 3 of the required items for the 100% run. We'll be grabbing the helmet upgrade from this stage that allows us to break blocks with our hard head. And then we're moving on to Flame Mammoth, where we'll take advantage of said helmet upgrade to grab the arm upgrade. Taking a bit of damage here, but it should be fine. Here's Dr. Light explaining, here's a helmet, it lets you break blocks. Pretty straightforward. I do think of the 3 SNES Mega Man X's that the helmet upgrade in this one is actually the most useful. At least once you know the games. The helmet in, I believe it's 3, gives you like a mini-map at the start of a stage. It'll show you where the pickups are. But once you know where the pickups are, that's kind of a useless upgrade. And 2 is just sort of shows you where hidden secret walls and such are, and again, once you know the game, that's really not all that handy. Here, moving on to Storm Eagle, another bird, another bit of RNG. So what we want ideally is for him to never go up into the air and start diving, which he's doing immediately, of course. Okay, good, he didn't dive. If he decides to go up into the air and start doing his diving attack, he's either going to dive 1 time, 2 times, or more likely 5 times. And here we go. 1 dive, there's 2 dives. Yeah, we're getting 5, but we got him down. So, taking advantage of that double damage, uncharged shot, he goes down pretty quick as long as he stays on the ground. And that was, he cooperated a little bit today. Alright, now we're going to go on to the Flame Mammoth. Because we've beaten the Chill Penguin stage, Flame Mammoth will not actually have any flames in his stage. It'll all be iced over. If you come into the stage before you fight the penguin, sorry about that, all these lower areas here, instead of being covered in snow, they'll actually be lava that kills you if you step into it, which just one more reason that you want to do Chill Penguin first. Right, here's a jump that's actually kind of hard to pull off. I almost screwed it up there, but I saved it with a little bit of a wall kick, a phantom jump. The game, like, those blocks look odd, and if you got the helmet upgrade, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I should probably be able to break those. But doing that jump to get up there can be a bit of a tricky thing if you aren't familiar with all the movement mechanics of the game. Now we got our arm upgrade, we can charge up to that cool little, I always called it the DNA shot. It looked like a double helix. But we can also charge up our sub-weapon, our boss weapons now, so we can take advantage of another phantom kick there, the ice sled, and get this energy tank without having to go up and through the rest of the stage. And then there is a heart container here, and then we'll make our way to the boss. The ice shotgun, as you can see, is pretty good against certain enemies. Because it hits with one projectile, and then the second series of projectiles comes out of it and shoots backwards. And if you time it right, you can have all of those secondary projectiles hit the same enemy, and it can do some pretty massive damage. This is our first boss. We're actually going to get to use the weakness weapon on it. Flame Mammoth is weak to the tornado we just got from the eagle. The start of this fight is always the same. He always throws his arms up and then he jumps over you. So we'll throw a charged tornado at him and then just start pummeling him with the uncharged tornado until he goes down. Ideal speedrun strat is to have him die as far off the screen as you can, like that, because the less sprites that are being rendered by the Super Nintendo, the less slowdown there is. You know, little things. That's the Mammoth down. Now we're going to move on to Boomer Kawanger's level. It's a funny English name, but it is also his name in Japanese. He's some sort of a beetle. I don't know the exact kind. I believe that's what the like samurai-inspired helmet, because samurai's helmets were inspired by beetles. It all sort of tracks. This level is very vertical. Probably the most vertical level in this game, and maybe potentially like the second most vertical level in the Super Nintendo trilogy. I know at the end of one of the Sigma stages in 3 is pretty notorious for being just a straight climb. Just make our way up, get to this auto-scrolling part of the elevator. Little helicopter guys who can come down and try and bug us, but we just dash over them. Not a big deal at all. And then we're back to climbing. So there is a couple of strategies to pick up the heart container in this stage. The fastest way, known as iceless, involves a pixel-perfect jump where you have to be exactly, I believe it's 8 pixels off from the wall, which is the max you can do that phantom jump, where you get to do a wall jump even though you're not technically on the wall exactly, plus a perfect dash input. And then you'll be able to jump straight up from here and grab that heart. This way is called ice full, where you just make an ice sled and then dash jump off of it and grab the heart. I believe the developer intended way is actually to get Boomer Kawanger's weapon and then come back and use it, because if you just stand under it and shoot the boomerang, it will grab the heart. I don't know that the ice method is necessarily unintended, but I don't think it's like the main way they meant for you to grab it. And iceless is definitely not how they intended you to grab it. So here is Boomer Kawanger. We do not have his weakness weapon, so I'm just gonna take an intentional death here since he grabbed us really quick. Without the weakness weapon, we're going to try and take advantage again of those dashing, uncharged shots dealing 2 damage a hit. Just kind of... There is a way to trick his AI into just trying to throw you up into the ceiling like he did to us right there over and over again. The timing on that's pretty tight. It is faster, but it's also pretty dangerous because if he grabs you, he does quite a lot of damage. But we're just going to kind of dash around, hit him with these dash shots, and then once he gets to about below half health, he usually just starts to teleport around the stage back and forth. But we got a little bit lucky with the RNG here. He decided to continue to throw his helmet at us. So we lost a little bit of time dying, but made some of it back up without him bouncing around the stage over and over again. And then we're going to do Spark Mandrill next, which, if you are familiar at all with Terminal Montage's video, Something About Mega Man X, this is the one where he goes, "Whoa, this song is really good." And that's because this song is really good. So we killed Storm Eagle before we came in here, and so all of this stuff is kind of wrecked up. Power's flashing. If you do the stage before Storm Eagle, then all these glass tubes that we're running on will actually have sparks of electricity running across them that could hurt you. And so just kind of cool how the developers put in all these little like interconnected bits between the stages, and how defeating the bosses in different order would kind of change the world. Pretty advanced for time, I think. We got this mini boss here. He can be a real pain if you're not aware that his weakness is the tornado, but the tornado makes quick work of him. Keep on jumping, dashing, shooting. As you can see, the tornado is an extremely strong weapon. It kills most of the enemies, like, with no trouble whatsoever. The turtles especially. You might notice me approaching the ladders a little bit strange. If you jump off of the ladders onto the edge that you're intending to move afterwards, and then they do act sort of like a little platform, and so you can dash jump out of that to maintain that dash momentum. It's just a little bit faster way to get off the ladder. Spark Mandrill, if you played the game casually, he is probably the easiest boss because, as you can see, the ice freezes him in place. And if you time it right, you can just stun lock him and keep him in place forever. But with the speedrun, what we want to do is shoot him, freeze him, and then as soon as he's not blue, you can hit him again, and that won't freeze him, but it does do the damage, and then kind of, as soon as the iframes from that second shot are over, freeze him again, and just loop that, and it's a little bit faster, a little bit more dangerous, since he'll actually get out and could potentially, like, punch you, but he's still probably the easiest boss. Here comes Armored Armadillo. I hope you also like the song in this stage, because this is where the hidden Hadoken move is, and we're going to need to do a revisit once we have all of the items, and replay this stage at least 4 times. There's a hidden health capsule above the boss door at the end of this stage that you need to have like the bottom pixel of that health pickup appear on screen, and that will count as a visit to that area. And on your 5th visit, if you have every item in the game, that's when the capsule with the Hadoken in it shows up. So we're going to do 1 visit here, And then once we've grabbed all of the items, we'll do 4 runs through this level. For now, we're just gonna riding on carts. Grab this cart tank here. So this final section with the cart, I'm going to do some dashing off of the cart onto the track. This is very dangerous. You would never do this in a casual playthrough. But it eliminates all these birds from spawning. And those birds cause some serious lag. The game can't really handle more than like 3 enemies on screen at once, and it tries to spawn 8 or 9 birds, and it slows things down. So by dashing, jumping, and getting back on the cart at the exact correct pixels, we avoid most of the birds spawning at all and save, over the course of having to do it 5 times, maybe a good minute or 2 just in lag frames. And Armored Armadillo. We've had really great boss RNG. All of these bosses have been cooperating today, so that's cool. I expect at some point the game's going to turn around and laugh at us and give us something terrible, maybe in the Sigma refights. But that was basically a perfect Armored Armadillo. And we move on to Launch Octopus. Everybody loves a water level, water physics. You know, jump higher, move slower in water. Pretty traditional stuff. Yeah, not a whole lot to say, I guess. It is the future, and so it makes sense that everything is shaped like a fish. Especially the underwater robots. We figured out how to make that work, so we turn them into fish shapes. Look at this guy. He's beautiful. It's kind of fun. There's a bunch of mini bosses in this level, especially doing a 100% run. You've got 2 of these giant fishes. The first one is weak to the rolling shield, and this guy is weak to the electric spark. And then we've got 2 dragon-looking, like sea dragon robots that we're going to be fighting, and those guys are weak to the tornado. So we come up here, ride that air column, and destroy this boat. It falls down and it destroys the floor and opens up a hidden area. And inside here is our first dragon boss. Try to get up here so that he dies off camera, and we can save quite a bit of lag frames. Do not be like me and fall into those spikes and die. I've done it so many times, and it's embarrassing every time. Alright, so I promise there is a second dragon boss. We're not going to get to see him because the tornado is so good, it kills him before he even shows up. And then we're on to Launch Octopus. He is a, I would say, somewhat unique boss in the Mega Man X series in that his weakness weapon is the rolling shield, which we'll be using on him. But there's a fun interaction with Boomer Kawanger's weapon, the Boomerang Cutter. If you hit him with the Boomerang Cutter 3 or 4 times, it will actually cut his tentacles off, and he will no longer be able to do his special move, which, again, we got insanely good RNG, and he never even tried it. He spins a tornado underwater, and if you're inside of it, he'll grab you and drain your life and heal himself. And that wastes a lot of time because he's invincible while he's doing that move. We didn't have it at all. But yeah, using the Boomerang Cutter, you can just remove his ability to do that attack entirely. Here is Sting Chameleon. This is our last robot master. We're going to be grabbing an armor upgrade after a mini boss, and then our penultimate heart container. As I said at the very beginning, there is one in the Chill Penguin stage we are unable to get until we get Flame Mammoth's weapon. And the route that I'm taking, we're just going to grab that after this level. Appears. Sorry, I was counting. This guy, I believe he's called the Green Biker Dad? Green Biker Dude? I don't know, something like that. He's cool. His weakness weapon is the boomerang cutter, but that is also the boss Sting Chameleon's weakness, so I want to use exactly enough boomerangs to kill him with still leaving myself enough boomerang ammo to kill Sting Chameleon. And we'll grab the body armor here. This reduces all damage X takes by 50%. It is very, very nice to have. Of course, we've done most of the game without it, so it's not like required to get the Hadouken though. A little bit of kicking and grab his heart. Defeating Launch Octopus fills this area with water, so we can do that dash jump to get it. The fastest way though is to use the boomerang cutter and that pixel and frame perfect technique where you throw it and grab an item at the same frame that a new item appears on screen, and the SNES gets confused and it goes, oh, that new item must be what you grabbed. And so you can actually grab the heart without needing to have the water there, and extremely quickly by getting an enemy to drop an item and just glitching it out. I have never once successfully attempted that, even in practice, but it is really cool. So if you check out some higher level players playing this game, there's some really cool tech on display. Your Sting Chameleon, he's, as I said, weak to the boomerang cutter. He's about as easy as the Spark Mandrill. You just hit him, and then he gets into this pattern where you can arc the boomerangs back and forth, and he will never get a chance to attack you. There we go. Exactly enough boomerangs to get him. Not a very hard boss. When we do the refights, Mega Man games always have you refight the bosses at the end. There's a technique that allows you to Hadouken him, but it requires charging up the ice sled, going through the door, jumping to the left, putting the ice sled in the wall, jumping on the ice sled, and then doing a Hadouken within a couple of frames, because you need to have full health and be standing on the ground in order to do the Hadouken, and it is a difficult series of inputs. Here we are, a revisit of Shield Penguin. We've got Sting Chameleon's weapon finally, which when charged turns Mega Man all rainbowy and completely invincible. So that makes the rest of this pretty quick. The most efficient way through this game involves getting the Sting Chameleon weapon pretty early on, taking advantage of it throughout most of the run. But we didn't do that today. We're gonna mostly only be using it in the Sigma levels. Right, jump up here, switch to fire, and then that's our final heart tank. And then move on to our Armadillo revisits to get the Hadouken. And also, there is a energy tank at this level that we didn't grab. Once again, the boomerang cutter glitch that lets you grab items that are essentially off screen, you can use to grab that early on your first visit. I opt to just use the Sting Chameleon's invincibility on the revisit and grab it though. It's a little bit easier for me. Take advantage of the Chameleon's invincibility and just rush through this stage pretty quick. I hope you like rock and roll, which is, incidentally, Rockman in Japan and his sister Roll. Oh man, I just jumped into some spikes. All right. Excellent movement on display here. That was, once again, that was some RNG manipulation. This was very much intentional. Alright, so once again, we're going to try and make sure that none of the birds spawn here by... Oh, we got one. Okay. And then we die. Alright, so we have to visit that health container a few more times. I think that I've routed my lives in such a way that I would have gotten exactly the correct number of visits. But then I died on that spike there, so we might have to run through the first half of the stage in extra time, unfortunately. That's okay. So that's 3, so this one will be 4. And, okay, no, I think I might have exactly enough lives. Alright, we might make this work. Maybe I picked up a 1-up somewhere, didn't notice. One thing, though, that needs to be kept in mind is when you get to the capsule, you need to have full health for it to appear. So you need to make sure that you don't get hit by any of the birds or anything on the way. This should be it. And then being at 0 lives should give us a game over when we jump into the pit, refill our lives. So that's actually a little bit serendipitous. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Well, that's not what you want to have happen, as you might imagine. I was attempting to go back, but that works. That worked out. We still have an extra life somehow. Let's grab another one through sheer luck. RNG is blessing us today. It's risky to do this jumping off of the platform, because if you miss it, then you just die, because you won't be able to get enough speed to make this jump at the end here, so... It worked out. Here's Dr. Light dressed up as Ryu and bequeathing us the use of the Hadouken. As I said, you need to have full health and you need to be on the ground in order to do the input. And it is the same input from Street Fighter. You do a quarter circle forward and then you press the attack button. And he'll throw out the Hadouken, much like Street Fighter. But in this game, it kills everything in the entire game in one hit. It is an instant kill move for everything except for the final form of Sigma. So it's extremely powerful, and it is why the 100% run and the any percent run of this game are actually pretty comparable, because once you pick up the Hadouken and can just sort of blast through the rest of the game with no worries whatsoever, the speed gains from doing any percent sort of cancel each other out. That was a pretty slow climb into the fortress. We got bad luck on the platforms there. We're gonna stand here and let this guy hurt us for a while, because this is a level where we're going to refight Vile, and in a showing from the first intro stage, we cannot hurt Vile in his big old mech, and he's going to punch us until he gets us low enough, paralyze us, and try and taunt us. And so we want to have as low of health going into this as possible. There's a way to skip that little cutscene we just saw, Vile and Zero talking, but it does run the risk of soft locking the game, so in a marathon I don't attempt it. Having to, start over or essentially just lose the run at that point. It's not a prospect I like very much, so get a little bit closer to the door with the jump off the ladder, but I'm not going to do the full glitch. If you enter the door, you can enter the door without touching the ground, which then skips the cutscene. But then in this stage, it could potentially soft lock the game, and Vile will never actually start the fight. So Zero sacrificed himself to destroy Vile's mech. Then we're going to fight him mano a mano. But yeah, with the Hadouken, It ain't that hard. Yeah, Vi will always start the fight by doing that jump over and then try to dash at you. So you just dash under him, turn around, fire Hadouken. As the Brits would say, Bob's your uncle. So there's a part of the stage that can cause me some trouble. I'm going to do it a little bit slow. I'm going to wait for my chameleon to run out and then reactivate it, because with really, really tight execution, you can get through here in one use of this without taking any damage, and even taking it slow. I took a hit. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, ideally we want to have full health going into this boss fight, because as we've mentioned, you need to use the Hadouken, but we'll use a sub-tank that should get us up. Okay. And here's the Boomer Kawanger refight. We didn't have weakness weapon or anything the first time we fought him, and now we have the ultimate weapon, a fireball, and he's no problem. And then we're gonna do a short little sequence where we use invincibility to just kind of walk through with no worries, and then onto what I would consider the most infamous boss of Mega Man X Sigma stages, the Spooter. She can toss little baby spooters at you. We don't want that. I'm going to use a little technique of pausing, figuring out exactly what her path is going to be, so we can Hadouken and not get hit. She is only weak to the fully charged X-Buster, the pink double helix attack, or the ice shotgun. And as her health gets lower and lower, she moves faster and faster, like a space invader. And so we really, really want to get her on the first try and not have to deal with her nonsense. So that worked out pretty well. Oh, I miscalculated how long I had on my charge there. Okay, we'll make this work. I don't want to use too many charges of my chameleon attack there, because it is the weakness weapon for the boss of this stage, Rangda-Bangda. Chill Penguin in the refight, as it gets static, he always will throw 3 shots of ice at you, and then it starts to become an RNG fight. So we pop over the first 3, throw a fireball in his face, and move on. So it's ideally, you don't want to get in this mech, you get lag frames, so it's a little bit slower than, if you use the rolling shield, like we did in the chameleon stage, it is faster, but you run the risk of taking a hit, and then needing to either heal up with these guys, or use an E-tank, or fight Storm Eagle with the chameleon sting. So play it safe, make sure we can Hadouken this guy. Refights being pretty static most of the time. He's going to flap his wings, we do 3 dashes forward, quickly and put our quarter circle forward attack and take him out. Now we're going to move on to Rangda-Bangda, which I think is a really fun name for a boss. The ideal situation for this is to have 2 blue eyeballs spawn, because the blue ones are the ones that we can Hadouken. Alright, we got a green to start, not ideal, not bad. 1 blue, awesome. RNG has certainly been on our side today. We need to kill 2 eyes and then this nose. There's the other eye. A couple more hits from our Sting Chameleon, and that's Rangda-Bangda. Rangda-Bangda? Something like that. It's a cool boss fight. He's pretty unique. It's one of 2 bosses in this game that are just a wall. Who doesn't love a wall? Then we're on to Sigma 3. There is a pretty fun little tech here I'm going to attempt where we can just skip the armadillo refight entirely. We kill that turtle, we charge up to our max shot, come over here, we throw down an ice sled. I missed the first one, but it should work this time. We didn't allow the screen to scroll up, and so when we come in here, the game's like, I don't know what's happening, and then the armadillo never spawns, and the door just opens. Easy as that. Here's the Sting Chameleon refight. Like I said, there is technically a way, very precise inputs, to throw an ice sled up that'll let you Hadouken him when he's up in the air. I have never managed it in practice, ever, and so I need to resort to good old boomerang bounce. But it's pretty quick. Just for safety's sake, turn invincible. And here is our Spark Mandrill refight. This one's pretty straightforward. We hit him with a shotgun ice, swap to X-Buster, and we Hadouken him as soon as he breaks out. So up next is the refight for Launch Octopus. This one, again, static. He does the same thing every time. He's going to drop down. He's going to tell us with his tentacles, you are going down. You're going to fire missiles. We're going to shoot, dash under him, and Hadouken. And then there's one more short little hallway segment. I'm going to charge up my chameleon, turn invincible, and just walk on through. Now we'll get the Flame Mammoth refight. He's going to do the same thing he did in his original. It's going to start with him jumping over us. I'm going to try and get the timing input to dash and Hadouken before he stuns us with the landing, but we did not get that. But we recovered. And then on to this thing, the D-Rex, I think is what it's called. It's a two-part tank. I'm going to try to do some AI manip to get him to come down so we can Hadouken him in the face, and that worked. Most of the time, if you dash all the way up to the tank, jump straight up, and then dash backwards, it will manipulate Alright, the AI to have him come down so you can hit him with the fireball like that. Otherwise, you're going to want to use the boomerang cutter. It is, it's pretty good weakness weapon for him, but obviously slower than one-shotting him. So here we are on the final climb onto Sigma. We're going to fight his little pet robot wolf dog, then Jedi Sigma. He has a lightsaber and all, and then Wall Sigma, and then the game's going to be done. Wow! So he's going to jump over us. We're going to throw out a fireball. Easy peasy. Now, the timing on this is a little tight, but there is an audio cue for when you want to throw the fireball. The audio cue that I use, once his health fills up and the music changes from the like menacing to the boss music, like right as that music changes, you do the input, the quarter circle forward, and then you hit attack, and it'll get him pretty much every time. And then, whoa, you're a wall now. Just kind of hang out on his hands, or his paws, and throw rolling shields at him. The only other weapon that hurts him besides the rolling shield is the fully charged X-Buster, that pink one, but it does less damage than the shield, so you want to just kind of blast him. Use an E-tank just for safety, and that's time. And this, again, as I said, is one of my very favorite games. I love it to death. I played it since I was like 9 years old, probably, maybe even younger. There is a 100% speedrun tournament happening sometime soon. The Hundo Cup, and it has actual like prize money up for grabs. So if you search up Mega Man X Hundo Cup, I bet you can find some information for it. There's a Discord if you're interested in running it. So yeah, I've been Dejana. Apologies to the RGL staff for needing to shuffle things around to get me in. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the marathon. It's always a lot of fun to be here.